Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're all doing well out there and staying healthy and whatnot. Now, as I said in my last review for the latest chapter of Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, I was going to try to go back to this series, Eden Zero, and start reviewing it again week by week with each new chapter. And you know what? I chose an amazing chapter to come back to because even though a lot didn't actually happen story-wise in this chapter still had some amazing, and I mean amazing, art-wise, story-wise, emotion-wise moments in it. And I cannot wait to go over them. Now, I gotta say, my favorite moment from the chapter, and actually before I get to that, I do just want to mention that this video is pretty much going to just be me on the camera the entire time. It's not really going to have many images because of the fact that Eden Zero is just a manga right now. The anime hasn't started yet. So because of the fact that I want to avoid any copyright strikes, I'm not going to be posting any images from the manga in this video. But anyway, getting into the actual chapter, my favorite moment from this week's chapter has got to be near the end when Shiki and them meet that little robot. And it was such like a cute little design. I love the way that Hiro Mashima designed that robot. It was just so cute, and like you wanted it to stay around a lot longer than it ended up, being. But it was like a nice little robot, and it actually came running out of the forest after they just got done fighting a whole army of robots to get to the forest. And at first you think, oh, this is just like another robot to come to attack them. Then they realize quickly that no, this robot's not being controlled. And he's just like, saying, oh, not all robots on this planet are actually trying to kill all humans. Some of us are actually still good and actually don't want to do any of this, but we're kind of being forced to. And now and then you can tell because of the fact that the robot was running from something, and that the first thing that he said to Shiki and them that was that, please don't kill me, that something was hunting down the robots as well, which we already know is the three generals or soldiers or workers, whatever the fuck they were, who worked directly under the other king, who is the opposite of Ziggy. I forget what his name is. I had to go back and look at the chapter. But it was basically those guys who we saw in the last chapter say, Ziggy kind of did their king a disservice by coming to this planet and, basically flipping the script on it where robots were now being the kind of ones on top and, making humans their obedient like servants. They were kind of basically out for revenge, and they planned on just killing all robots to retaliate. And you can tell, because if you remember that part anyway, you can tell that that's who the robot's running from. And when he gets to Shiki and them and he's explaining the situation, he doesn't tell them that he's actually running from somebody for some reason. That would actually have been the first thing I would have said to him. But when he gets to the Shiki and the gang, and he's like, he's telling them that, not all robots on the planet are bad, and that not all of them are trying to kill all humans, and that he's actually one of the good ones. And they immediately take him into their group and like, we'll protect you. We'll keep you safe if you come with us. It was in that moment that I knew, like, those moments when you're like watching a movie or playing a game and it's like, things are too happy right now. Things are going too well right now for the characters. Something bad is going to happen. It's right around the corner. So because of that, you don't want to go to the next part of the movie. You don't want to go to the next part of the game. You don't want to flip the next page in the comic or book that you're reading. That was exactly how I felt reading the page right before that poor robot got sniped. And I gotta say, that page where he actually does end up dying, that shot, like that art on that page was just amazing. It's just pure Hiro Mashima at his 100% best. The shot of the robot getting sniped, Shiki's reaction to it was just so amazing. And really, I don't know, maybe it's because of the fact that I'm actually reviewing the series again, and it's making me look at it in a more critical way, that I'm actually really noticing the differences in art between Eden Zero and Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. And I know they're done by different artists, and I'm not going to, discredit the artist who's doing Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, because he's doing a great job himself. He's basically putting his own style onto what Hiro Mashima does, but still, you can just really tell the difference. And the fact that we don't have Hiro Mashima doing 100 Year Quest, I think is actually kind of dragging it down now, because I feel like that series would have it would just feel more like Fairy Tail. Not saying it doesn't already, but it would feel even more like Fairy Tail if we still had Hiro Mashima drawing it and we got to see his actual art style on each page. So I actually went back to chapter 112 real quick, which is actually the chapter where we introduce this guy who shows up at the end of this week's chapter to trap Shiki and his gang on the trees with that, like, I guess glue, since the chapter's called Glue. I guess his ability has something to do with glue. Not exactly sure how glue can snipe somebody like it did to that robot, but anyway, I end up finding out that, the guy's name is Mora. He's a commander for Poseidon Arrow, who is the king, who is the direct opposite of Ziggy, who basically, Ziggy's plan right now is to basically give robots dominance over humans. And this guy, apparently, according to what his three commandos say in the end of chapter 112, is going to be basically trying to rid the world or rid the universe of robots. And the reason why I bring that up is not only to basically get the name right for this character, his name is Mora, But to also bring up the fact that at the end of the chapter, when we see him basically trap Shiki, Rebecca, and the rest of the team, the two people he doesn't shoot with the glue to trap them to trees are Pino and Happy, the only two robots who are there with them. So I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going to end up happening. In the next chapter, when we get back to this moment, he's going to try to attack Pino and Happy, and eventually Shiki and them are going to break free and start to fight him off. I'm interested in finding out what other kind of tricks this guy has, because I mean, glue is, it's a cool power. It's kind of interesting idea for his ability, but I don't see, unless I guess you can shoot hardened glue. I guess that's what he did, was he shot hardened glue at the robot and destroyed it. I guess that could be kind of interesting, seeing how he does that, and what kind of weird ideas Hiro Mashima comes up with for this guy's power when it comes to glue. And I'm interested in finding out what the other two commandos that came with him, I think their names are Orc and Brittany. I'm interested in finding out what their abilities are and how they fight with them. I kind of feel like the guy Orc is going to kind of have like a variation of Elfman's ability. I don't know why, just the way he looks kind of makes me feel like he's going to have some kind of like ability where like Elfman did, where he can kind of transform into like some kind of monster to give him like a boost in strength. And when it comes to Brittany, I'm kind of getting Evergreen vibes from her, even though her character looks nothing like Evergreen. But because of the fact that the one thing that we focus on when we see her in chapter 112 is her adjusting her glasses, kind of makes me think that her eyes have something to do with her ability. So maybe we could see her having an ability like Evergreen, where she can turn people who she looks at into stone. I mean, I doubt Hiro's going to basically be giving her the same ability that, a previous character he created had, but I could see her having some kind of eye ability similar to what Evergreen had. So I think story-wise, the most important part of this chapter actually happened on Eden Zero with the ship itself, when we actually see Sister basically examining Queen, which, by the way, we got our etchy shot from the chapter, Queen from the back naked. Of course, it was going to end up happening. It's Hiro Mashima's staple. He always has to have at least one etchy shot per chapter. But we got to see her basically examining her, and we end up finding out from a flashback from during the examination that apparently Queen has some kind of rare ability, or not rare ability, rare disease, where if she experiences any emotion whatsoever, which is the reason why she's wearing her emotion inhibitor, if she experiences any type of emotion, it will cause a complete mental shutdown. And when Sister tries to basically pressure Jin into telling her exactly what happened, because obviously something traumatic must have happened to her in the past, they kind of cause her to have this kind of mental disease, physical disease, I don't know exactly what to classify it as. But when she tries to get information from him, which, being a doctor, I would guess that would mean, finding out as much as you can about the original trauma would help in curing her of it. All Jin does is basically he threatens Sister, which, by the way, amazing art right there, amazing moment, I'll talk about that in a second. But he threatens her, and he immediately then backs off when she, basically gets angry at him back. And he kind of just tells her, listen, I'm not going to go into details of what happens, but just know this. If Queen ever finds out or ever tries to remember what happened to her, there's going to be no way, even with her inhibitor, to stop her from experiencing emotions, which means she's going to have a mental shutdown. So just drop it. Now, real quick, that moment where he actually grabbed Sister's collar and was like going up to her and threatening her gave me huge Natsu vibes. In fact, the way he did it was drawn in this chapter reminded me of all the times Natsu would do that throughout all Fairy Tail. But putting that amazing art to the side for a moment, it was kind of dumb of Jin not to tell Sister exactly what had happened to Queen in the past. Because, I mean, alright, I get it. I get that moment, and I get what Hiro was going for with that moment. Obviously, Jin is a very, very overprotective brother. Everything we have seen him do bad in the series so far has been literally just to protect his sister. And I can get it, when you especially as an older brother, I can understand that moment where like pure rage taking over you when you're trying to protect a sibling, when someone actually puts your sibling in danger, even if it's a friend, all rationality goes out the window and you just see pure red. And that's what he did in that moment. He saw pure red with the idea of his sister being in any danger, even though Sister was just trying to help. But still, he went to Sister for help in curing Queen. And in order for her to cure her, she would need to have as much information about the disease as possible. And him withholding this information is just going to hinder her ability to cure Queen. So why wouldn't he tell her? And I get why Hiro didn't do it, or I get why he didn't for story reasons. Because of the fact that Hiro obviously wants to, drag on this mystery of exactly what's going on with her and what their backstory is. But still, when it comes to the in-universe characters, it doesn't make any sense when Queen's nowhere in sight, not listening at all, and in no danger of her hearing what happened, remembering those memories, and then getting some kind of emotional moment from it, and then going into mental shutdown. In that moment, it made no sense for him not to tell Sister what had happened, so that she can at least have some kind of understanding as to what is going on and what the situation is. We also had this moment, which is pretty obvious as to why it was here. It's literally, we have this moment where Eden Zero is being attacked by a whole bunch of drones. I think they said, what, 116 total drones are attacking the ship and more are coming from the back. And this moment is literally just here to kind of put in the idea in our heads that these three characters, Queen, Jin, and Laguna, are all going to be staying on as permanent members of the crew. They're all going to be joining on at some point, even though all three of them, besides Queen actually does mention to Sister in the chapter that she actually wants to stay here because she likes the people that she met on the ship. But the other two clearly do not want to stay. But it's pretty obvious that Hiro is actually, having them join the ship now and having them and prolonging the reason why they're there in order for them to basically become permanent members of the crew. Because, I mean, obviously, Jin, he's going to be there until Queen is healed, so he's pretty much there indefinitely. Laguna, he said that he wants to find a planet to basically lay low. Well, I mean, if he's looking for a new planet to lay low on, why didn't he go with them to explore the planet? He's sitting there reading a book on the ship. So obviously, he's not that invested in finding a new planet. So basically, this is just Hiro kind of giving us an idea of what's going to look like with these three on the team. And I'm definitely down for these three characters joining the team, especially Jin, because I have a feeling that Hiro Mashima's pretty much setting up Jin to be the Gajeel to the series. Because, I mean, he's pretty much fitting the same exact role that Gajeel did in Fairy Tail. I mean, we started off with Natsu and Gajeel basically being enemies, and then the two of them basically became rivals in Fairy Tail. Well, the same thing is going to happen with Jin and Shiki. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. That's literally all that happens in this week's chapter. I mean, the only thing I can really talk about besides this was the fact that the art in the chapter was amazing. I mean, this is Hiro Mashima at his best, especially the beginning of the chapter, page 4, when we got that final shot of the characters right before they started to fight. And then we get page 5 and page 6, with just 4 amazing shots of each of the 4 characters basically fighting off against the robots. That's Hiro Mashima at his best right there. But that's pretty much all there is for this chapter. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. And if you're excited for the upcoming anime, I know I am. But, like I said, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below your thoughts and theories. And I will see you guys for possibly tomorrow, an early, I'm trying to think of the words right now, early spoiler leak video for Black Clover this week. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.